Hey, welcome to Film Fanatics. My name is Dan.
My name is Justin.
And I'm Joe.
This week, poor Joe's under the weather.
Sorry, I coughed right after that.
But we'll get through it. We have the supposedly final chapter of Resident Evil, the latest Matthew McConaughey film Gold, and catch up on another Oscar nomination, 20th Century Women. So first up, Joe, tell us about this Resident Evil final chapter.
All right, well, I'll try to keep this brief as I can. But I had this idea planned out for it. Okay, as you guys might know, it's very similar to the Underworld series, which has a fifth entry, and you got
true.
We're on 6,
and sixth entry, and it's another one of those franchises where you're asking yourself like, why has it been around so long? But people go to see these things, I guess. Even
the dark side of fandom,
yeah.
Joe. The dark side of fandom.
Which I don't understand because, anybody that plays the games obviously hates these things. So, it's true. So, I don't know where the audience is. I guess it's the people that Mila Jovovich, that's the only thing I can think of. But even that, can't you give her something better to do? Anyway, she obviously plays Alex in the 29th installment of Resident Evil. And it starts off after the previous films in the post-apocalyptic world. Because at this point, the zombies are taken over completely. And there's a lot of really crappy action, but
so much Deus Ex Machina.
But I wanted to say this experience kind of made me think. I'm not like an expert filmmaker by any means, but I know some basic things about storytelling. And if you have to start your movie with a 4-minute sense of constant exposition, and then lead directly into a no dialogue fight scene that is terribly shot and edited, I feel like there's some discord there, and I think that kind of tells the whole movie. It's rather uneven in that sense, and I feel like it's carried on the same vein from what I know about the other movies. I only ever saw the first one, because I never had an interest to see any of the other ones, and it's nothing like the games either. So this one,
so it really is much like Underworld, because you only saw the first one of that.
Yeah. Some people have been saying this one's like the worst of the franchise. I don't know if that's really true because
the bar's been set so low.
Yeah, it's been set so low. I honestly feel like it might not be. I can't really say, but all right. Even though it was like the lighting was often kind of bad and the editing was choppy. Like the fight scenes are really like hard to follow a lot of the time, and the plot is it's dumb, but it's but monumentally dumb.
Yes.
But I feel like it's one of those things where this movie did seem like it was trying to pay some respect to its fans. Like you can tell some people may have enjoyed it. Mia Jovovich is doing well for her virtually non-speaking, high-octane physical role. So I can't say it's really her so much. This has kind of become her franchise. But, beyond that, the CGI could have been worse. Some of the monsters were at least creepy looking. There were a few minor scares. So even though it was dumb, I didn't feel quite as bored with it as I did Underworld. So I think it was definitely bad, but I don't know if I don't feel like it's not the worst.
Okay.
But that's going off just purely my possibility and expectations. But you guys maybe had a different experience. Please tell me.
Now, Justin saw all 5 of the Underworld. So where are we on Resident Evil?
Yeah, Justin's hardcore.
Oh, man. Where to begin with this? So
tell me. I don't know.
No, but how many have you seen?
All
I've seen 3 of the Anderson series.
And?
One of the animated movies, just out of interest. Are they better than these? Yes, but not by much. Mm-hmm. The original, I never actually got around to watching. Just too young, and honestly didn't really care that much. 3 looked interesting, and I watched it, and I loathed it. 4 was one of those, I got off work early. The heck with it, I'll watch it. More of the same crap. Yeah. And here we are on number 6 with the supposed ending.
It's not.
They leave it pretty open.
They leave it pretty open for the end.
It is the most anticlimactic ending possibly in the history of franchises.
Pretty frustrating.
Wouldn't call it so final.
The second to last final chapter.
Yes.
Unless we make money, which we probably will, because.
No, I'll say this much: out of the ones I've seen, I consider this one the least bad.
Okay.
Because after 3 and after 4, I just sort of stared at the screen afterwards, thinking, please let this kill the franchise. I will happily argue Resident Evil is the...
Worn out its welcome.
Easily... Not even just worn out its welcome. It's like it insists on coming back from the dead because somebody will watch it.
And why do you think that is, man? Because that's this is one of
Like
the
I
ones
said,
I
Does
get.
Dark
great
Side of-
internationally.
The Dark
This and
Side of
Underworld
fandom.
both do. Sorry.
Dark Side of Fandom. I mean,
No, I mean, like,
But
I've met fans who absolutely loathe these, but watch it because they want Resident Evil to get traction, which I think is beyond idiotic. It's the same deal as why I don't think people should support Star Trek V. It's a terrible movie, and I'm sorry. Force them to put together better stuff. The storyline is awful. There's no nice way around it.
have the movie's storylines ever been good, though? Even the first one I remember wasn't really
I mean,
that
the first one,
coherent.
at least, what I've seen of the first one, that is, at least seemed interesting.
Yeah, it was
the other
interesting.
ones are just.
Action schlock.
I was gonna say that pretty much hits the nail on the head. Like, here's Alice. Here's random location that we probably picked on a whim, and let's see what
crappy.
weird things can happen.
Yeah, I mean...
And this one's like, hey, where haven't we sent Alice? You know what? Let's do giant callback because fan service, I guess.
Hey, there are fans.
There are fans, for better or worse. Yeah, I definitely can't say this one's good, but I think there are moments that are unintentionally hilarious that almost make it entertaining.
Some funny moments.
There's one particular death scene that I think is rip-roaringly funny, but
All right.
just because it makes absolutely no sense, much like this movie. But
Well, Justin, it begs the question. What does Dan think about it?
that would be the question, wouldn't it?
Let's intersect there.
Well, I didn't get too many laughs out of it.
You didn't get it? There were a couple
no.
funny parts.
No, I'll tell you what I did get from it though was a headache.
Doesn't surprise me.
I am not susceptible to headaches, like ever. But man, the camera angles and the shaking and the fights, it was like, oh my god.
Could you tell what was happening? I couldn't.
Sometimes no, sometimes I couldn't. but here's what I will say.
Okay.
Joe, I'm on exactly the same page. I think this is a better movie than Underworld.
I think so.
And I have seen the first and the fourth of this series. I went and saw the fourth when it was out. I had some friends that wanted to go. And the first one I watched sort of in preparation for that. The last one is very unmemorable. I couldn't really tell you even what happened, and I think I kind of went and just checked out.
They're all kind of the same.
The first one was a little memorable because of the whole laser cutting thing.
Dog
and,
thing and-
yeah. Kicking the dog in the face.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think Jovovich does a better job here than what's her face in Underworld.
Kate Beckinsale.
Naked
Beckinsale,
Woman,
yeah.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
And I think as a film, this is better on just about every level. Maybe the storyline's about the same because they're both sort of lame storylines. But I think the action's better. I think her acting is better than Beckinsale's.
Mm-hmm.
And here we see again, we just saw her in Triple X. Ruby Rose shows up for a little bit in this. I hear she's also in John Wick 2.
Oh yeah.
Which explains why she's only in about 2 scenes of this movie. She probably was like, yo, I gotta
Film a better
gotta
movie.
bounce. Gotta go hang out with Keanu now.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. probably.
So, but yeah, so I mean, is this a good movie? No, not particularly. But Underworld was so bad.
It's so boring.
It's definitely a step. Yes, very boring. I don't think I was bored with this movie. I kind of liked the generational Jovovich
Yes.
in the wheelchair.
Weird.
That was
definitely
added a
interesting.
little bit of a wrinkle to it. So I don't know. I mean, would I ever see this movie again? No. But would I be more willing to go to the next chapter of this than of Underworld? Yeah.
That's not much of a choice. But,
I was gonna say,
but
it's
yeah,
like choosing to be shot or stabbed.
Yeah, but listen, none of us gave Underworld an F. I mean, it wasn't, the worst of the worst.
it was just almost there.
But it was not
It was
good.
troubling.
It was not good. I
very
enjoyed this
troubling.
one more, and I think it's probably a better made movie. But the camera angles
The
and the
Bad.
shaking
editing
was
was pretty
was
rough.
rough.
And let's be realistic, pretty bad CGI too.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
same with Underworld though. I think those
Yeah.
are probably about on par.
yeah, it's kind of what you expect at this
Yeah.
level, to be honest.
Well, because they keep shrinking the budgets for diminishing returns.
Right.
So who knows how much budget the first one had, but
like I said,
by comparison,
seen worse.
yeah,
Oh, definitely
I've
seen
seen
worse.
It's like
worse,
whatever that comes up, I'm
but-
like, that's seen worse.
but it definitely wasn't good.
No, it was ugly.
I would say that. All right, well, Joe, what's your grade for the final chapter here of Res?
Yeah, the
quote-unquote final.
The quote-unquote final chapter is a C- for me.
Okay, it's a C- for me as well. Justin?
And I'll do you one better, D-.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
What saved
that's
it?
worse than Underworld then, for you.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Oh. Okay. So what was the... I know you said you're already all your positives and negatives, not many positives, but what's
that one
what
thing?
do you think pulls it under Underworld?
Oh!
What's that? No pun intended. But what's kind of like the worst offender?
I mean, the camera work is horrible, but at least with Underworld, even though the lighting was a little bit shoddy at times, I could at least keep up with the action.
Okay,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though the storyline didn't make much sense, I could at least tell you what was relatively going on. This one, it's like so random and spur of the moment, it's borderline comical.
yeah, I think I could probably say what was going on in this. About the same as Underworld.
Yeah.
All right, well, just
Yes. And the two travel to Indonesia to follow a lead that may lead, to wealth beyond their wildest dreams. There was a revelation I had with this movie roughly about 20 minutes in. And to put it bluntly with you gentlemen and dear listeners, it was simply this. I don't even remotely care about anybody in this movie. Just so monumentally indifferent about every single character and event and how it all played out. Now, to be fair, some of the direction's okay, the cinematography works in spurts, but the thing that's just incredibly dry and dull about it is not only is there no reason to like Matthew McConaughey's character, it's just he's so wildly uninteresting that the 2-hour runtime, which is ridiculous by the way, continues to drone on. I kept waiting for something to happen to make me want to get behind him. He's selfish, he's obnoxious, he's completely uninteresting. Ironically enough, his sidekick is significantly more so, and at one point we literally have a moment where McConaughey does literally nothing for about 20 minutes, and we hear when he comes back into the picture, oh yeah, your buddy did everything. Can it please be about him? Because he sounds like such a more compelling and interesting character.
Ramirez you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
And alongside that, while the movie does get a little bit more interesting as it goes along, it's also painfully predictable. Betrayals happen, there's twists, things don't quite pan out the way they want them to. If you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, take that, but take out all the fun and intrigue. This is just a dry as a bone, quote-unquote, based on true events movie that I guess is filler for January. Curious to see how you guys took this one.
Well, I think I liked it more than you. But the main problem with the movie is McConaughey as Kenny is the only real character in the whole movie. We get few details about everybody else, be it his business associates, Ramirez's character, Bryce Dallas Howard. We don't know anything about anybody, and that is why, you're right, Justin, we don't care. I didn't care about anybody in this movie. I think, he's, I don't know, mildly interesting, I guess, but he's unlikable, for sure.
Oh, unquestionably so.
And, I kind of think Bryce Dallas Howard gives the movie its best performance. I mean, she's very good in this movie. He's okay.
For the entirety of her 20 minutes of screen time.
She's not on that much, but look, hey, we've given acting awards for less screen time than her. So
True story.
You can do a lot with very little. We all know that, Justin.
Yeah.
But I think his performance here is kind of bland. And really, you mentioned Wolf of Wall Street. It's a great comparison. He's doing his own version of the Belfort character. But what makes it worse is, of course, he was in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
So it's like, your character in Wolf of Wall Street is monumentally more interesting than Kenny. I can't say that the movie held no surprises. I think there's a couple things that happen in the final maybe 20 or 30 minutes that are certainly interesting. Whether they're predictable or not, I don't know. You could sort of sense some things happening, and that since it is a movie, you're not going to get, And then they all rode off into the sunset, and everyone was happy.
That would be great.
That would be
with gold.
False.
Oh yes.
So I thought it was okay. Certainly very standard and underwhelming for recent McConaughey output.
Certainly,
for sure. Joe?
So you guys don't think that McConaughey will get the gold for this one next year?
Yeah, all the glitters is not gold in this case, Joe.
Yeah. I unfortunately, you guys are right. I was kind of excited to see it because I'm like, hey, it'll probably be decent, and I would say it's that. It's kind of decent, kind of mediocre, kind of okay.
Mediocre is a fitting word.
It's all right, I guess. Pretty standard schlock. I think the story is kind of solid enough. I think that it holds together as this kind of film would. I think that there are some interesting ideas here, but most of them aren't fleshed out because you're right. We don't know anybody, and that's always like a pet peeve of mine is that if you don't really know the characters, you're not going to care. So you're right. I think as far as McConaughey's character, though, I feel like he isn't that interesting, and I wanted to blame it on the writing, but you guys are right. I think they were kind of coasting.
I completely blame it on the writing.
Yeah, probably. And I kind of want to say that they wanted to coast on McConaughey's charm, but I don't think he has as much energy in this one. So you can definitely tell that and hurts it. Bryce Dallas Howard, you're right, is pretty good. Actually,
really good,
I typically like her, though, anyway, so it's not really that much of a surprise.
Yeah.
But she does kind of give it a standout. There are... I think most of the twists were like, you could kind of see them coming. But, they're at least...
Not to the extent of how they play out.
Not specifically, though.
But at least stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And then it got a little more interesting. Like, I can't say that I felt the movie was bad, but it's kind of forgettable. And that's sort of the worst crime for me, technically. But, yeah, I thought it was just okay.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't necessarily think it was too long, Justin. I just wish more was happening
like
in that runtime.
I'll be honest, the first act is rough.
It's a little... It's just standard, Especially after... I don't know. We just saw a movie a couple weeks ago. It had some differing results on this show. But in The Founder, you see... Michael Keaton is a very down and out salesman.
Yeah.
Until he sort of stumbles across something. The first 10 minutes of that movie is so much more interesting than anything that happens
considerably,
in the first half hour of this.
No question there.
Good comparison, yeah.
And Jordan Belfort's another one, that's a very long movie, but in that first half hour, whatever, where he's doing the penny stocks, and
so much going on.
You can sort of get behind him too, because you're like, okay, he's struggling, he's
underdog.
down and out, underdog. Here, I don't know how excited can you be really about a character who just wants to pan for gold? It's like we get it.
There's probably
like the 49ers, man.
Jordan Belfort, he wanted to be rich and he wanted to do the yachts.
He wanted to slice the American dream, though.
But he wanted to do well, and I guess panning for gold is one of the original American dreams,
classic,
of course.
Galt West,
but
Oregon Trail,
or
East, I guess in this case.
Yeah.
But
at least this case.
Yeah, but yeah, it just what a blah movie.
It's okay.
Seriously.
But I think you're right, Joe. Unforgettable is probably,
unforgettable?
the term.
Forgettable.
Forgettable. You're right. You're right.
I was like, really?
Damn it. You're right.
We'll never forget that.
Forgettable is the term. All right, Joe, what's your grade for Gold?
It's definitely forgoldable. I leave it with the C.
Yes, straight C for me.
You're not getting an argument.
Okay. So finally, we've got 20th Century Women. And in this, Annette Bening and Elle Fanning are heading up the cast of this comedy drama, written by Mike Mills, nominated this year for a Best Original Screenplay for this, and based somewhat on his own childhood in the late 70s and early 80s. Bening plays Dorothea, a hippie single mother whose relationship with her hormonal son Jamie, played by Lucas Jade Zuman, is getting more strained by the day. So she recruits his best friend and a young woman renting a room in the house, played by Elle Fanning, and Dances Ha herself, to help raise Jamie, and Billy Crudup supports. As an aside, I didn't realize that this was Greta Gerwig week for me, because I'm trying to go through a lot of these 2016 movies I missed. I didn't know she was in Jackie, which we'll be talking about on next week's show, but I watched that. And she's also in this movie Maggie's Plan. Yep. And I saw all three of these within like 4 days. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of Gerwigged out, to be honest. But this was the first one I saw, and she has, of the three, I think the most to do here. But anyway, so back to 20th Century. I think there's, a great deal to talk about with this movie. There's lots of laughs, for one thing, but the coming-of-age drama is really spot on. And I thought it was interesting that it's a movie based on Mills' childhood, because the star of the show, without a doubt, is not the kid. It's Annette Bening, for sure.
Definitely.
Obviously, it's hinted at with the title, 20th Century Women.
Yeah.
You're going to look mainly to the women, much like Beginners, which he did was, a lot more about his father's coming out story,
Right.
Than his own life. And everybody's good in this movie. I don't think there's a bad performance here. But Benning, as I mentioned in my Oscar snubs top 5, it gives just one of the strongest performances of the year.
Absolutely.
I can't believe that she wasn't nominated for this, especially because the Academy likes her. She's been nominated before, her and Adams both. I can't believe what's going on with Best Actress this year. But that being said, none of the characters are one-dimensional. Even though she's the star of the show, we get a really good sense of pretty much everybody. They're all fully formed and continue to grow as the film progresses. There's also no huge events or crises, kind of like Boyhood,
Yeah.
It's a slice of life, things are happening, but on a normal growing up level, nothing's earth-shattering, it's just kind of a peek into the lives. And I think Mills puts the most important parts on the screen, shines the light on them with his script, but then he lets the actors do the rest and just, go with it. And I really, really enjoyed this. Justin, what'd you think?
I mean, I'm actually right on board with you on this one. I liked Beginners. I didn't love it.
So I was the same. I actually thought it was a bit overrated.
Yeah,
I gave it like a B. It was okay.
Yeah, about saying Plummer does a good job. But
Plummer's great, and he deserved his Oscar for it. But I agree, the movie on the whole was very uneven.
But this huge improvement. I think I kept thinking the whole time the old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I think that really rings true here in terms of what does it mean to grow up? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a feminist? And I think you see a lot of that in play here without managing to be preachy. I think...
Yeah, like never once.
No, and I think the way they balance it is really nice. Benning obviously does a fantastic job. Gerwig... I'll be honest, when I went into this, I was thinking, okay, Gerwig...
It's not her best. You think it is her best?
Respectfully disagree.
Well, of course, you don't like a lot of the movies I like her in, though.
But no, I mean, I'm sick of her being the, typecast indie darling.
It's a little different for her, yeah.
But no, I think she really made the character her own, and I would argue gets quite possibly one of the best movie pep talks in recent years.
Okay.
Obviously, you can never outshine Annette Bening, but... And I've always
I don't think so.
Just not going to happen. But,
hard to do.
Yeah.
Face of Love.
I mean, she was the, she wasn't the face.
Yeah, I was going to say, not the right person.
Ed Harris was the face.
Yes.
But we all agree she was the best part of that movie.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Justin, even though it's a terrible movie, you could still agree she's the best part of it.
Acting-wise.
I know, you didn't like the way
okay.
her character was written. But we're talking about her performance.
They're pretty good, generally.
Yeah, typically being the key word there. But no, with this one, I mean, just really great storytelling. Not everything I would say works. There's some experimental editing that sometimes gets the point across, but we get it. Yeah, taking some long trips in the 70s, crazy things happen. Do we really need the crazy little rainbow thing to illustrate? Yep, happenstances occurred to keep it relatively PG.
Yeah, surprisingly, his directing actually is the one a little bit weak element of the... his writing's great.
Oh, yeah, no.
But,
I mean, screenplay is well-deserved. I'm actually surprised it isn't up for Best Picture, honestly, but... That
or Loving would have been my guess for the 10th slot, yeah.
Yeah, no, if I had seen this ahead of time, I would have probably put it up for... that would have been on the snub list, more than likely. But as a whole, I think it's just a fantastic movie. Very, very glad I got to hit this one before the big night.
I can't think of an Annette Bening movie where she doesn't just raise the bar against everybody. I mean, I haven't seen her entire filmography, but I've seen a few.
Yeah.
I like The Siege.
The Siege? Okay, I didn't see that one.
It's a good one.
The one called back, yeah.
Yeah.
What is The Siege? I'm thinking Under Siege.
Denzel, 98,
Oh,
terrorism.
Oh, yes. Okay, I've never saw that.
It's kind of strangely prophetic. You should watch this.
Okay. And she was in another movie earlier this year, Rules Don't Apply, that kind of came and went. We didn't cover it.
Did you see it?
I saw like the first half hour, but there was nobody in it the one day, as you might imagine with its box office results.
Sadly, yes.
And so I kind of sat in on it for a good bit, and it was interesting enough. I'd like to see the rest of it. It's like about Howard Hughes. Beatty plays Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
Good.
But she is in it, and I don't remember even seeing her once in the first half hour. But
She would be in it.
anyway, she's great. I mean,
Bugsy returns.
yeah, Bugsy returns
There you go.
basically. So yeah, no, this is one of my favorites of the year. I give it an A.
I'm right with you. Hey,
Very good.
But not an A plus though. Why is that?
No,
directing's probably
the directing was a little bit scattershot
Yeah.
in some parts.
Okay.
I agree with Justin that's, if anything, is a flaw of this movie. It's that.
Okay.
But maybe he kind of figured with the caliber of talent, like he doesn't need to
Just let me go.
direct that much. Which I think in the scenes he did. But Justin's right. It's the shots sometimes that or the little montage moments that are
Yeah.
a little bit more standard.
Okay.
I think, yeah. But all right, well, that will do it for the show. Next week, I already mentioned Jackie, but we're going to tackle another Oscar favorite, and that is Lion. So join us for that next week, and you can, of course, subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, or check us out on Facebook, Film Fanatics with an exclamation point, and the Twitter feed at Film Fanatics Pod. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next time.